Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can strum through a song called She Don't Like the Lights by Justin Bieber. And it's this awesome little variation, actually, on a pretty cool chord progression. Where you start on an E minor chord, and we play E minor. First finger goes, and we're going to end up capoing this on 4th fret to match the recording. But the way you play E minor, first finger goes to A on the 2nd fret, second finger on the D string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. Now, through the song, you might want to kind of think about adding in the 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And that's one way to play E minor 7. Or you could even take a pinky and kind of go to the high on the 3rd fret and use that for your E minor too. So you want to think about kind of mixing it up with different chords. And then from the E minor, we're going to be going to a D major chord. And one way you might want to play the D major, we're doing first finger on the G string 2nd fret, second finger on the high E 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now another D chord you may want to think about actually looks a lot like another chord we'll talk about in a minute called C, where you do your first finger on the B string 3rd fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, or 4th fret, so 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then 3rd finger on the A string 5th fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E, that's something called D add 4, so you may want to think about using that for your D chord too, especially that arpeggio licks we'll talk about. And then from there, if you kind of take the D major and slide it down 2 frets, that gets us to our next chord, which is a C major chord. So now I got first finger on the B string 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string 3rd. Now another C major you want to think about through the song then is something called C major 9, where you do your first finger on the D string 2nd fret, second finger on the A string 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd fret. You want to think about that for your C chord, especially if you're digging on the E minor 7 and kind of de-voicing. That can make it a little bit easier to kind of make it to that chord. And then from there we'll be going to an A minor chord. In the A minor, you do first finger on the B string 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the G string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really sad. You might also want to think about lifting off the 3rd finger of that and making it an A minor 7, and that could be a very, very cool voicing too. Or you could even take the pinky and kind of add it in on the high E on the 3rd fret. And that's another way you could play A minor 7. And then from the A minor, we go back to E minor. And actually, the whole tune is kind of this cool variation of that progression of the E minor, D, C, A minor. And through the intro, actually, it sounds like we're working some arpeggio licks, where you kind of play individual notes of those chords. And we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that kind of once we kind of get the capo kind of worked out. But you may want to try doing that, kind of just free-form playing individual notes of the chord and kind of breaking them up, which is what arpeggio means, is broken chord. So you may want to play around with that. Or a lot of times, especially if I'm just going to be singing through it, I like to use just a strum pattern. It's this really cool one that Justin does, we'll talk about later. But one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this, which is a good one if you're just starting out, is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we take the E minor and just tried that a lot. You have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So one really easy way to play it is to kind of just do that through your chord progression. So you have E minor, down, up, down, up, B, down, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, down, up, A minor, down, up, down, up, E minor, down, up, down, up, D, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, down, up, A minor, down, up, down, up. Now the weird thing is, to play along with Justin, instead of starting on an E minor chord, he's starting on a G sharp minor chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 4th fret, then now your E minor is really a G sharp minor, your D major is really an F sharp major, your C major is really an E major chord, and your A minor is really a C sharp minor chord. But to take it from the very beginning, you could just work just that strum pattern through it. That down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, down, up, A minor, down, up, down, up, E minor, down, up, down, up, D, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, A minor, down, down, up. Now something else you may want to add to it too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down, or the down, down, up, down, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the E minor, you'd have the low E for your bass. On your D, you'd have the D string for your bass, unless you're doing the D add 4. you got the A string for the bass, just like the C chord. So C, you'd have the A string for the bass, and the A minor, you'd have the A string for the bass. So you minor the bass, down, up, down, D with the D bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, down, B minor the bass, down, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, C, down, A minor, down, down. Now you might also want to think about doing parts of this finger style too. And if you're interested in that, your thumb kind of becomes your bass player for the E and the A and the D string. And you could kind of take the index finger, middle finger, and ring finger and kind of line them up on and this is weird because if you're using the regular D, you may want to line them up on the G and the B and the E string. So index would go to the G string, middle would go to the B string, ring finger would go to the high E string. And a really easy arpeggio to start out with would be on just thumb, index, middle, ring. So you could just kind of run your fingers straight across the strings. So playing the low E and then the G and the B and the E kind of all together. And you kind of end up doing that twice for the E minor, and then twice for the D, and then twice for the C, and then twice for the A minor. So that can be kind of a cool thing too. It's kind of bass, G, B, E is kind of an idea. Now if you're digging on the D add 4, you could also, instead of lining up your fingers that way on the G, B, and E, you could line them up on the D and the G and the B. And that could be a very cool thing to kind of use that D add 4 and the C major voicing. Now the arpeggio that Justin's actually using through that part and actually through other parts of the tune is kind of a variation on that. So if you're kind of interested in what Justin's doing or what it sounds like he's doing, you'd start out with the E minor and kind of do the low E and the high E at the same time, and then kind of come back with the index, middle, ring on the high E string for the E minor chord. So you might want to kind of play around with that. And then for the D, it sounds like you do the D add 4 and shift your fingers to the D, G, and B, and do that same arpeggio for the D add 4, and then you have the C major with that same arpeggio with the A bass, and then you could even use the A minor 7 kind of for that last part of the lick. So that might be something else you want to kind of play around with, is that E minor, D, C, A minor, and there's this random variation actually in kind of the first verse, where on the D chord you'll hear him do the D string, and then shift to the A string on the 2nd fret for the bass on that. So you may want to kind of play around with that. It could be a cool little variation to throw in on the D chord. Kind of going to that 2nd fret on the A string for the bass before you come into the C chord. And randomly there's this other place where he does the A minor chord one time and then jumps to the D. So you may want to kind of play around with that too. So it's almost like you have like a little lick on the E minor, and then the D kind of gets half for a D, and then with a B in the bass, and then the C chord all the way through, and then A minor, but then back to the D add 4 would be a really cool embellishment of that lick. You know, kind of stealing parts from two different parts. But that would be a very cool thing to kind of work that too. So if you're kind of interested in that. Now later on, and especially in the choruses, what it really sounds like Justin's doing is going into something called the 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're kind of dividing that beat into 2 parts with our down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is where you divide that into 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And what I mean by that is if you take the E minor and do it down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're doing on the first beat. Then on the second beat, you're doing a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then on the third beat, you're doing an up on 2, down on 3. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, up, 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 down, up. So all together, you got down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. So we tried that through our verse chorus. A minor, down, down, up, down, 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 D. kind of a big build up on the A minor, so you might want to kind of listen out for those spots. And there are also places too where that happens even on the D chord. Actually, that happens a couple times where we kind of end up with kind of a down, 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 kill it. E minor, D, C, kind of mixing it up that way. And there are also some other places where you may just want to break down and just kind of do big downs on the chord. So you might want to kind of play around with that too. Take all those different things and kind of mix them up. Or if you know other licks, all those chords, that could be a cool thing to kind of throw into. Different ideas and kind of figure out how you want to cover the song out. But that's the basics of how you can strum through She Don't Like the Lights by Justin Bieber. So good luck!